Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Pepe. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Before we get into the lower degree count here, we're going to talk about a couple of the potentials here that we discussed in previous videos. Now we were saying that this could be potentially a completed move, and what we were saying is that, we need to be on the lookout here for the potential of a deeper retracement. We were also talking about the possibility of looking to a break to the upside from here, but because we came back down and took this 82900 level, effectively this has invalidated that count. Now within this idea here, there's a couple of ways we can look at this move to the downside. So the first way that we can look at it is that this move here is made up of three waves. We're looking at this as our X wave, and effectively we're looking for another three wave move to the downside. Now we have actually come down towards this level of this 1382 of this A wave over here. So we have had a reaction here. We're going to have to track this to see if this continues into something bigger, because technically speaking, we have come down to this 0.618 of this W wave here. Now this means that this is a minimum requirement that we typically look for the Y wave. So it's possible that this Y wave could actually look to complete into this low. If this does complete into this low, what this could then mean is that either we are looking at this move as a bigger ABC pattern to the upside, where potentially this B wave could then complete here and we could be looking for a direct push up, or alternatively what we could have here is a bigger corrective move that is still playing out, and what we could see is that this move becomes a wave, we get a B wave, and we still see that continuation to the downside. So we're going to have to pay attention to this move here. If we're looking for continuation up, what we want to see is nice clean 5-wave structure with good volume, looking to break above the 786 level here at this 291610 level. That would be what we want to see for a bit more confirmation that we're going to see, this looking to continue to trend here. Until we break back above that level, if we do just get a 3-wave move up here, we need to be careful of that continuation to the downside, where this whole move just becomes a bigger corrective structure. Now it is also possible within this corrective move here, we could argue that this is a 3-wave move down, this is our B wave, and we look at this as a C wave. Now if we are looking at this as a C wave, there is potential that until we actually cross this zone of this 12328, we need to be very careful that this is going to be our 4th wave rejection area here. So 93543 is going to be the higher end that we want to break back above. If we fail to break back above this level, we could still be in the position here where we're looking for this 5th wave target, which would bring us down towards this 55215 to this 48600 region. This would also align with one of our target boxes that we've got over here, which does have some interesting areas. We have this 0.618 to the 0.65, which would be of this entire move to the upside. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this level. If we do look to move back into that zone, that could be quite an interesting zone in this 5th wave target box. Now if this is in a 4th wave here, what we would have to be on the lookout for is, like I said, this could just be a simple 3-wave pattern to the upside here, and this could be then looking to complete, where we would say that this is A, B, and then C to the upside. Now if this is a 4th wave, or a W, X, and a Y, as I've got it shown here rather. Now if we are looking at this, we could potentially complete here. We've come up high enough. This 82635 is the 1-to-1 of this is ABC, and we've met that 1-to-1 also of the Y wave. Now if we do look to actually see price continue to hold this channel here, what I'll be looking out for is that this could actually become A, we get B down, and then we still see another push to the upside here, where we could see this push towards this 97586 region. But I would be anticipating a pullback here, potentially back down to this 50% to the 786, but I'm actually going to throw this 382 on here, because this could actually align nicer with the channel depending on where we come into here. It's just this 50% would be an interesting level in my opinion, as it would be coming back and back testing some of these highs over here. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that if we do look to push to the downside. Now if we do continue to push up here, we could potentially be in an impulse, and we could be looking to invalidate this idea. Even if we see this move do a bigger A, B, and a C, and we do get this push up into this zone, we can see here, if I overlay this, this would not be that far away from our 50% line here at this 9354. So I would still be keeping an eye on that level if we do see something like this look to play out. Now within the bullish case here, what we'd be saying is that we're actually starting to form a bigger structure to the upside. We'd be saying that this Y wave's completed here, and we could be looking to turn for a bigger breakout. Now within the idea of the breakout here, we're going to actually come back down into the lower time frames. Because of how choppy this move is, You know, there is potential here that we could see something like this as a diagonal, but the fact that this wave over here would not be long enough to say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, particularly with the fact that this move has moved up so high now, it wouldn't make a lot of sense looking at it as a diagonal. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but the way that I'm currently looking for this is that if we are looking to extend out here, it's possible we could have this series of 1s and 2s here, where we could be looking to break to the upside in a bigger way. Now, in order for this to confirm itself, we'd have to see a move past this 85296. Now, what we'd want to see here is that this move here would be 1, 2, another 1, 2, and effectively what I'm looking for here is another 1, 2, and then we start to see this looking to push up in a bigger way. Now, within that idea, what we'd need to do is hold this zone of this red line here, which would be this 70724. And what I'm looking for here is that this potentially could be another 1 and a 2 here, where what we're saying is that this is potentially A, B, and C. Now, if we do continue to hold this 73107, then potentially we can look at this idea of having a bigger breakout here. But looking at the current structure, I would still say that, you know, it's probable that we're going to see something like this, like a push up and then this push down, though at the moment this is only 3 waves down. So it is quite possible that because we've come into this 50%, we could start to see a rally directly. Now, if we do start to rally directly, what I would be looking for to confirm this count would be a move up past 98022. And what we'd want to see here is this move become 1, 2, and then we'd want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, looking to push us up towards this 1618. This wave here should have stronger volume than the previous wave here, and it should start to get quite impulsive to the upside. And then from that point, we'd have to then see how we react, because if we do get this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do see this push up here towards this 103978 to this 100244, what we could then see is that this whole move here would become part of the next 1, 2, and this would then mean that all of this move here would be within this white third wave, and then we'd get a fourth and a fifth, and then we get another fourth and a fifth, and this would actually just basically look to continue extending out as long as we continue to hold that previous fourth and a fifth. And we'd have to obviously pay a lot of attention to those subwaves at that point. What we'd be looking for here in the bigger picture is what we'd want to see is effectively have this develop as 1, 2, 1, 2, and then all of this would become 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Then see a 3-wave move back to the downside, finding support above this low, and then looking for that continuation up from that point. So at the moment, I'm looking at that more local invalidation point. If we do see price starting to rally to the upside here, we could potentially start to move through some of these levels and look to actually get a bit more of a substantial push to the upside here. But if we do start to rally here, it's going to be very important that we hit that target here of this 98020. Until we actually hit that zone, we need to just be aware of that more bearish situation here, where this could just be a corrective move. And, you know, we're still looking for rejection here between this 93543 and this 73825 as a potential rejection zone for this wave 4. So even if we do look to continue to push up here, we can't rule out the idea here that this could be something like W, X, Y, X, and Z. And then we still look to push down. So we need to clear this zone here and ideally hit this invalidation point up here of this 122382 to get rid of this bearish potential here. But there is the possibility that we could start to see, you know, this impulsive structure developing to the upside. Just going to have to be a bit patient and see whether it can confirm. Coming in and having a look at the daily CPR lines here, we can see that these were indicating volatility, and we've seen this strong move to the upside. We've actually hit all of our targets for today. What I'm going to be looking out for the rest of today is whether we manage to find support on this area of the 75537 or some of these higher levels. If we continue to hold these support areas, we could potentially look for continuation to the upside. Alternatively, if we do see that idea here that this is going to be a bigger ABC pattern, we could actually revisit these central lines here around this 73174, and that could potentially provide us support lower down here. If, however, we start to see a deeper sell-off here and we lose these central lines, other targets would be 70886, 68520, 66233, and this level here of the 63855 for today. Now moving over and having a look at the weekly pivots, what we can see is that once again we had the week opening with these very tightly spread CPR lines. We've moved up and we've hit our R2 line here at this 81276. If we do continue to push up here, I'm going to be watching this 88420 as a potential zone because we could get a reaction, which would align with some of those extensions within the waves here potentially, where we could see something like a pullback for a fourth again. So if we do continue to push up here, I'm going to be keeping an eye on those zones. If, however, we start to see breakdown, I'm going to be watching this 74396 as a potential support zone over here, where we could look to find support on this R1 line. Losing that, targets would then be potentially back into these central lines here, the 67485. If we lose those central lines, other targets for this week would be 60375 and this level here of this 5304, which would align with this being a fourth and that breakdown for that fifth, although we've only got 2 days left for these to play out, so we just need to be mindful of that. Now, coming over here and having a look at the monthly CPR lines, what we can see is that we are currently actually underneath our central lines. We also haven't had an interaction here with this S1 line at this 56368. So if we do see another push down here, I'll be watching this zone to see whether we actually get this as a fifth wave target, where we could be looking to potentially test this area and then look for that possibility of a move up from that point. Or if we lose that, other targets would be 32487. Obviously, it's the 29th day, so we don't have a lot of time left for this. The alternate thing that could happen here is if we do continue to push to the upside, we could look for an interaction with this 90798, which could potentially be resistance above us. Other targets would be this 101235 and this 111902. If we do start to see price breaking through these levels, other targets we could see is this 125414 and this level here of this 170556. But obviously, like I said, we don't have a lot of time left for this month, so we'll have to see how we react. The only way I would be seeing us pushing up into some of these zones is if this starts to develop more impulsively to the upside here and we start to get that bigger push in those more impulsive structures, looking for that extension within the waves. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.